Brian said it. Doug's here. We can go ahead and start. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Looks like we've got a good crowd already in the chat.
A whole bunch of hooligans is what we got.
That's what we've got. Yeah. It's Jay Krauss tonight and Cats, which I specifically adore. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Glad you can join us. Jay, it has been like 9 months since Lit RPG Con, and you were one of my very first interviews on the show. And it's been like a crazy 9 months for both of us, I think.
It sure has.
Yeah. You've got 3 series going, and what, like 8 books since then ish?
Oh God. Just about. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that. Something like 8.
Yeah. Sounds right. It's hard to keep track of just how many books it is because of the audio releases. You know,
well, that and I've got books that I've written that are in editing or haven't.
Yeah, that aren't quite out yet. Yeah,
it's more like, I don't know, 9, 10, somewhere around there. But
yeah,
who's counting, right?
Right. And how many podcasts? I mean, you for I think our first interview was maybe your first like book related podcast interview, and now you've done like it feels like dozens. You're like a celebrity. You're a special guest at Lit RPG Con this summer. It's amazing.
Speaking of feeling like dozens, yeah, that's gonna be a lot for me.
Yeah. But okay, so what this means is this is the first time you've been on my podcast without a mask on. So thank you.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I remember back then, I think Tommy was first and then you were second. And I messed up the audio and the video on Tommy like 3 times. We had to do his interview like 3 times. It's like, poor guy. But you guys were the best first interviewees ever. So
I guess by being the first, we had to be the best.
Well, fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. So we've got a bunch of folks. We've got BJ's on, Matt, Matthew. We've got Gary, Doug, Brian. A lot of folks on tonight. Looks like you've got fans or something, Jay.
I think Hannah has the fans. I'm just here to bring Hannah's story to them.
That's true. Although Hannah is not in your new series. Let's get into it. Tonight we're going to be talking about Founders Edition, specifically Book 1, Lighting the Forge. So this is a new series, and according to Amazon, it's going to come out April 17th.
Correct.
And is that in all formats? Is that like audio, digital, physical?
Yep.
What is that? Yep.
We are finally doing SimPub for one of my series, and mostly because it is self-published audio, so I can do that. But the audio has already been sent to ACX, and it's uploaded and ready to go. So,
dang, you are on fire!
Very exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you said that there's a reveal tonight, possibly with the audio. Do you want to talk about that now? Or you want to hold off and wait?
I mean, we can certainly talk about it now. So I've been sort of hinting at who the narrator is going to be, and I gotta say, he did a fantastic
Oh,
job.
hold on. We got to have some technical difficulties. All right, here we go.
So I guess we're back on.
Yeah.
So the narrator for this, or rather, the voice actor, performer for this series is Daniel Wisniewski, and he will be doing the series for us. And I can't wait for you guys to hear this. I have been loving it. And I'm not a big audio guy, so for me to say that it's a big. I'm not a big audio guy, and I don't like my own work. So
I hear that. Daniel's, I mean, top of the Lit RPG, so that's huge. This is going to be amazing. I've heard some clips of it, and you guys, it's going to be a real treat. So
yeah, he's very happy with it. He says it's some of his best work. He's got a couple of clips he's going to be sending in to award shows or whatever it is those crazy people get up to, and It's very good. BJ has heard all of it, I believe, at this point. She's been my beta listener.
Nice. So BJ, go ahead and put in the chat what's your favorite, scene or characters that Daniel's got on the audio. This is great. Is there going to be a pre-order up for the audio since you've got the files already?
Yep, April 1st.
Okay. So April 1st, we're going to have to like stampede over to Audible and do the pre-order thing. Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, let's talk about the book a little bit. I got an art copy and I've been like picking at it over the last couple months in between all the podcast books I've had to read. And then like this last week, I've just like slammed the second half of the book pretty hard. But the background is Brant is dying and he has to upload himself into a VR MMO permanently. And he is pretty set on being a grumpy loner, mining and forging and blacksmithing his path in a remote village. But those grumpy loners don't stick loners for too long. He meets a little weasel and then a priestess and then this talking skull, and then before you know it, he's got this whole village and a bunch of like NPC friends. And it's delicious in the best J. Krauss way. Yeah, it's a delightful read. So thanks for sharing with me early, Jay.
I'm happy to. And as for loners, they never stay loners for long. We got to give them lots of friends. I prefer to be alone most of the time, but I keep making new friends. I can't help it. So here we are.
Yeah, it's yeah. Let's get into it. So Jay, I always ask everybody this, but how would you like to be addressed at cons? As Jay, grumpy loner, like what?
I don't know that I'm grumpy. Just Jay is fine. That's the easiest. That's the one I'll probably be the best at responding to.
Mm-hmm. The immortal writer. You keep having this immortality theme that keeps popping up in your books, man.
Yeah. I should probably look into that.
Yeah, some therapy or something.
Maybe.
Yeah. Hi, Hannah. Thanks for joining.
Uh-oh, there goes the neighborhood.
I know. Yeah, the chat is popping off. We got a celebrity in the chat, so let's talk about Brant. He's a stone dwarf, and he's got obviously dwarf. You think mining and blacksmithing. He also delves into a few other related professions. But let's talk about his powers and his craft ability. What made you decide to go with the dwarf?
Well, the character sort of informed that choice. So we're not spoiling anything. This is the first couple of chapters, but Brant in life is tall and sort of spindly, and by the end of his time that we meet him, he is sickly from cancer, and he hates that about himself. And so when given the choice of race to become, he decides he wants to be anything but that. He would rather be short and hardy, and that's what they give him. And so the dwarf became the way to go. The stone dwarf, there's lots to that as well that I won't give away, but there are reasons why he went stone dwarf.
Yeah. And he really wants to. He's kind of a loner in real life. Like he's gotten to the end of his like life on Earth, and he's done with it. Like his last friend passed away, and he's ready to like move on to something different. And with that, he chooses this. I can't remember. Does he choose it, or does the goddess choose this remote village for him?
He doesn't. Neither one actually. He ends up there, but that's later in the book, sort of. I mean, as to how he ends up there.
Yeah. Sorry, my dog was going wild. I had to get her to be quiet. Yeah. Okay, powers wise, the combat with the main character is kind of fun. I referred to him in my head as like Mr. Punches a lot.
It is true. He does punch a lot. He kicks too, though, to be fair.
Yeah,
Grapple
he does.
sometimes.
Yeah, he's got.
They
Sometimes
always
there's
rock
these moments
people.
in combat where I'm like, he just punched that thing harder.
Yeah, you know,
Like,
sometimes it's
oh,
what
that
it
doesn't work.
takes.
I'll just punch it harder. Yeah. The combat works though, with the power base that he's got and just kind of that stone dwarf physique. It's it's fun. Are we going to be seeing larger diversity of like physical powers? Or are you going to keep this more on the crafting side, or what's your plans for that right now? Nobody is going to hold you to this.
Well, it is decidedly craft heavy, but we'll certainly see him evolve and see his abilities evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the tells there being how the skills are described and how they're all building blocks for something bigger. So it will definitely move towards martial art than just punch thing harder. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
we'll see.
Yeah, fair. All right. So if you're in the chat, feel free to pop some questions in there and we'll get to your questions as well. One of the things that I really love about this book is the animal companion. Um, so I'm just going to reveal you went with a weasel as a primary animal companion. And as I was reading, I was like, do weasels actually purr? Is that a thing? Do weasels
They
purr?
do. They do
Okay.
purr.
All right. I'm gonna have to like Google weasels purring. That sounds awful,
Well,
but
that's how I did it. So I don't
yeah.
blame you.
Yeah. But one of my favorite animal companions, she's adorable. Thea, tell us a little bit about Thea. Her power base is a bit of a healer. I mean, she ends up being the healing support for Brant. So, tell us a little bit about why did you go with a weasel and why a healer?
Well, the weasel sort of came about because I was looking for a small critter that could sort of, ride along as a companion, whether he wanted her to or not.
Mhm.
Um, Least weasels actually have the highest bite strength per ounce of any carnivore on the Western hemisphere. So they're, for their size, quite scary, but they're like 3 ounces and 6 inches long. So they're very small little critters, but for things their size, they're very scary. But they're also adorable, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you definitely wrote her as adorable. Have you been around weasels that much? Or have you held a weasel or just a lot of
Don't
video Googling?
No, no. I mean, she's also. I mean, she's also sapient. So I don't know
Yeah.
if it's weasel or if it's just her being cute. Who knows?
Yeah. Fair. Fair. Pop Pop is kind of bringing up the next character that we want to talk about in the book. He wants to know, why is Teddy the hidden main character? So, mm,
Only in your mind, Pop Pop, and his. Frankly,
yeah, I'm pretty sure
I
he's convinced he's the main character. Yeah.
I love that that's your favorite character, Pop Pop. To be honest, and I can't wait for people to get a hold of this book and find that as humorous as I do.
Yeah, I also find this very humorous. If there is a character in this book that potentially has the grumpy boomer energy, it is Teddy. Um,
Very true.
yeah. Yeah, but you've gathered this fun cast of characters that kind of float around the main character, including Teddy and Thea, and the priestess. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But there's a bunch of villagers and folks that just kind of start to make up this cast of characters. Did you plan for all of those folks ahead of time, or did the village and those relationships just kind of evolve as you wrote the character in this little village?
Well, I write very character first and world second. I feel that if your characters are good, your world can sort of evolve around them. But if your characters are bad, it doesn't matter how good your world is, no one's going to care.
Hmm.
You fall in love with characters, not settings. So to that end, I also don't write much beyond the main character in my head as I'm starting. Every interaction that they have with other people is a potential for a friend, an enemy, just like real life. And I follow those threads wherever they take me. I mean, in like Will of the Immortals, for example, Satow, who now has his own series, was just going to be a shopkeeper.
Hmm.
And now he's integral, right?
Yeah.
And so I knew there would be a village. I knew there would be villagers, but I had no plans beyond that. Um, I didn't even know there was going to be an animal companion until she appeared, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's really attractive about your books, whether it's Mask of the Immortals or like Sato's series or this one, is that you are very like main character dominant. It's very much from this one perspective, and you know, in lit RPG, sometimes we have these moments where there's these global stakes, and you get this like zoom out of all the things that are happening, and you stay really zoomed in on this one one potentially crotchety knight or dwarf or
Yeah, I've got a
uh
type. What can I say?
yeah, you do. You do it well. um Now, I know you and I have known each other for this last year, and I remember at lit RPG con in the auction you had a really unique piece that you brought. It was something that you'd blacksmithed. It was like some cattails and like a water lily sort of. I can't remember exactly what it looked like. I don't have a good visual memory, but it was very cool. I bid on it. I did not win it, unfortunately. But you are a blacksmith yourself.
Mhm.
How much did that influence lighting the forge and the decision not just to move the character towards blacksmithing, but also like how he thinks about blacksmith and the profession and how you built that in the system?
Well, it's definitely a big part of it. All the blacksmithing in the book is based in reality to some degree. It's how it's done in real life, with a few things being sort of gamified because you can't make it completely real to life, or it would be incredibly boring to read about.
Hmm.
Leon's a blacksmith too, so the profession there definitely carries over. It's a different kind of blacksmith, being a modern main character with the Founders Edition versus 16th century knight. Very different concept there, but if it's a what came first situation, the character came first, then I realized that I could do a blacksmithing, series. I had a patron say that if I wrote a blacksmith crafting series, he would read it, and so
There you
yeah.
go. See, all those patrons, they're like, don't listen to us. They just, you guys just need to just give us the spark and we'll run with it.
Exactly.
That's right. Tal wants to know, outside of the main character, who is your favorite character to write and why?
Man, without giving too much away, probably Jade, the AI that runs the whole thing. I enjoy her, even in the first book, her evolution. She starts showing more and more personality as she realizes she can talk to someone for the first time. So she's kind of snarky at first, but that mellows out. And there's lots of little moments where you realize she's probably more than she seems.
Yeah. Yeah, she does definitely develop her own sense of voice there in the back end of the book as it progresses. So yeah, I like that. Not the character I was expecting you to say, but I like the answer. So
Yeah.
we've got another question here. Do you have an idea of how many books are going to be in this series? It's the $1 million question.
Well, I mean, if I really went with my gut and say 5 or 6, I don't know exactly. It really depends on how much of a bite I'm taking with each book.
Hmm.
About a year in the first book, but he has another book before the game even releases, and then when the game releases, there'll be a build-up phase. There'll be, there's lots of stuff that's going to happen that he's not going to want to have happen because he wants to be left alone. But there will be lots of fun, interactions there that I'm looking forward to.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm thinking like 6 books, but then if you close down the game, I don't know. No spoilers, but like, a
Mhm.
bunch of interesting questions get raised there.
Mhm.
So
And I'm asking those questions myself. Yep.
yeah, yeah, like, as a writer, like, how are you gonna do that? One of the things that differentiates Founders Edition from the Immortals Mask and like the Immortals world is that this is a VR MMO, and it's not cultivation based. It's more of like what I would say is like a traditional lit RPG sort of like level up
For sure.
framework to it. What made you decide to move from isekai, and cultivation to a VR MMO and more traditional gaming elements?
I don't know that I decided anything, honestly. I was ahead of my writing schedule for Will of the Immortals and the Immortals Mask,
Mhm.
and I decided that I wanted to take it easy in December. Then I realized that I have a story that I want to write. I've been thinking about it for a while. I want to bring back VR MMO. I miss it. No one's writing it.
Mhm.
I'm going to write it. And then I realized that I could take December and I could knock out a book. And so I did. And it ended up being twice as long as all my other books because that's just how this works for me.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know that it was a conscious decision to move away from cultivation more than it was I want to, I don't, you don't necessarily want to be typecast as the cultivation guy either, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it is it's fun because the VR MMO it used to be more popular 5-10 years ago in lit RPG, and that kind of subgenre has almost completely died away. So it's a choice. I mean, maybe it's not a choice that you made necessarily, but it is a choice to put a new VR MMO out there, and just kind of buck the, you're like, yeah, no, we still have stories here,
Yeah. I mean,
to
it's such a pillar of lit RPG, and it goes
Mhm.
back so far to like Russia pre coming over to the US even. Like the RMMO has been around as long, if not longer, than most lit RPGs. And you have Sword Art Online. You have a whole bunch of the sort of influences that created this genre came from that. So I
Mhm.
miss it, and I'm bringing it back.
Yeah, fair. Fair. Well, I think there's a special somebody that wants to know, have you considered basing a character on your niece or nephew?
I would say, who's to say that I haven't already?
Dun, dun, dun.
Mhm. Maybe finish the book I gave you last and
Yeah,
teach
you
her.
gotta start reading. Hmm. That would be a good way to bribe somebody to read. You'd be like, well, you might be in the book.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
just won't
You never
know.
know.
Yeah. I love this question from Morpheus. So Morpheus is your artist for all of your books, and he's like, I know you're quite busy with the 200 books you're writing, but do you have an idea when we'll get volume 2 of Founders Edition?
When am I gonna get the special edition cover of Steel Foundations or the Thea art or the No, I'm planning on starting book 2 after I finish Will of the Immortals 9, which I'm over halfway now. Um, so by the end of this month, I should have Will of the Immortals 9 done, and then I plan on starting FE2 so that I can have something sort of in the pipe for before it launches next month.
hmm So I know, Jay, that you've got a very detailed like back and forth launch schedule that you had already planned between Will of the Mortals and Mortals Mask.
Mhm.
And I imagine Founders Edition kind of messes with that, or are you just trying to get another series out on top of those two series' launch schedules already?
It really depends on how well received the series is, honestly, because I'm gonna continue it, but whether I jump straight on it and rearrange stuff, I'm already in the process of rearranging. Sort of, I did move the Immortals Mask 4 back until June from May because we lost our lead, but I'm still ahead. But I don't want to
Yeah.
feel like I'm behind, if that makes sense. It stresses me out, and then I don't work as well. So I'm at this point, I'm considering doing like 3 books in the Immortals Mask instead of 4 a year. Still doing 4 in Will of the Immortals because that's my primary series,
Primary. Yeah.
and then trying to fit a couple of Founders Edition in there. We'll
Yeah.
see how it goes.
Yeah. That's a quite a lot to balance, but it makes sense. I think a lot of people, when they are like, how many books is your series going to be, or like when is it going to be out, and how does that schedule look like, they forget that like writers are also running a business. Right? So part of it is
We are, but
yeah.
I feel like some of us fall into the trap of chasing the dollar over doing what we have said we're going to do. I mean,
Hmm.
it happens in all genres, but it is understood that longer series will make less money per book going forward because you lose readership with every new release. It's just how it works. Of course, with every new release, you have people starting at the top of the funnel, which is what you want.
Yeah.
But every subsequent book does make less than the first book. That's just how it goes. And I feel like a lot of authors are falling into the trap of thinking, well, this isn't profitable anymore. I got to drop it.
I'm going to stop it.
Something
Yeah.
new. I feel personally that my job is to finish telling the story that I set out to tell, regardless of all that. I mean, I'll just work harder. If I got to put out more books to survive, I'll just do that. But in my mind, my readers expect to be told a full story. That's what you're paying your money for. And so, come hell, high water, or arthritis, we'll make it happen.
Yeah. I think I don't disagree. There's this bad rap that lit RPG authors specifically get into, where their series is either don't change, or sorry, their series is either don't end, or they get almost like pinched off too quick, and it doesn't seem like a genuine ending because for whatever reason the series ended quicker than the original plan. So it's good to
some
know
of that might be, we lose interest, or you get sort of distracted by shiny things. We all have a billion ideas for books.
Or life happens, right? And
sure.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are not, this isn't their full-time job. They're just doing it as a hobby or whatever, and life gets in the way too. We have got a question here. Did you call it FE? So it would have the acronym FE, aka iron. Was that planned?
What do you think? Well, I fell in love with Founders Edition, then realized that it was FE. So no, but it was nice. It was a happy coincidence.
One of the things, Jay, that you're always known for is just the amount of production from words per day, month, week, year, right? You hit 1 million words last year, which was crazy. Tal wants to know, do you sleep?
I do occasionally. Get like 6 hours a night, 7 hours maybe if I'm lucky, but that will change going forward. I'm going full time, which will allow me to get a full night's rest, which will be very interesting, because it's been a very long time.
Yeah. Doug wants to know, are you shooting to be the Book of the Month Club all by yourself?
I could. I have to write shorter books, though, so you guys can decide. Yeah. Apparently my books are already too short, so maybe I shouldn't do that.
Have you ever thought about doing like a, monthly J. Krauss book deliveries? Like sign up and get an annual subscription to J. Krauss and get a book delivered every month?
Maybe once I have enough books to get away with doing that and not running out too soon.
Yeah. We also have a question from the audience. When are you going to put batteries in that clock behind you?
Probably never. It came with the house. It can stay with the house. It'll be fine.
Dun, dun, dun. That clock is going to taunt you all in every podcast interview Jay does from here on out.
Maybe I'll change it every so often just to mess
with them. Oh, Dennis wants to know about woodchucks.
Well, woodchucks don't chuck wood, so
there you go. There's your answer, Dennis.
Question.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to a couple of my questions. Keep bringing your questions. We've got Jay Krauss here, and he's got nothing better to do than answer our questions. So
that is sadly true.
All right, so my understanding from the lore of Founders Edition is that the muse just hit, right? We're going to take a month off, and it was like, the muse was like, no, you're not. Sit at a keyboard. Tell me about like how, like, you had this story rattling around and you just sat down and just didn't stand up and like walk away. How does the muse strike you?
Well, like for Steel Foundations, I wrote that book in 18 days. It was my first full-length book, and it was just straight through. It was like a fugue state. I couldn't stop. I wouldn't say that Founders Edition was the same level of panic's not the right word, but motivation, But the story needed to come out for sure. I'd been thinking about some way to do like incremental progression with an MMO with a miner that just goes out and mines ore and brings it back, and every copper matters, and the levels are important. And that's sort of the vibe that I'm shooting for with this book, is bringing back those old school MMO vibes where, early days, the game just launched, or in his case hasn't launched, and like you're broke, you're
Kind of
scraping by,
grinding
you
away.
gotta
Yeah.
work up to something, right? And so that's what I was shooting for, and I think I got there in the end, but it had to be told, I guess. I don't know, it had to come out.
Mm-hmm.
It would have driven me crazy if I hadn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how long did it actually take you to write the first draft of Founders Edition? Was it just a month?
I want to say it was a month and a half, a little bit, maybe a month and 3 weeks. Something.
Yeah.
I did 2 chapters a day minimum, and I work 5 days a week, 64 chapters. So it's like a month and 3 weeks, somewhere around there. But I think I did a couple of three chapter days, and somewhere in that range.
Yeah. How many words? It's like 200,000 ish, right?
182, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a little bit longer. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the Will of the Immortals books are around 110, so
Yeah.
it is significantly longer.
Jen's got a good question. They're like, there's lots of joking, but I'm genuinely curious what your process is that allows you to write so prolifically.
Well, I don't let myself not. I know it sounds trite and isn't really helpful, but I get up. I know I have to get it done, and I'm not happy until I get it done. And it's probably the least healthy way of doing it, but here we are.
Yeah.
I have, a space for writing. It's my office, working, gaming occasionally, but usually it's if I'm in here, I'm working, and I get up early. Alarm clock goes off at 5. Now it goes off at 6. I'm starting to shift my schedule. I want to be a human being at some point, so I'm shifting it. But it was 5 a.m. wake up, get up, take my meds, get my caffeine, sit down, write for 3.5, 4 hours until work, and then write during my lunch break. That should get me around that 5,000, 600,000 word minimum, and then work the rest of the day. When I get off, I do my social media stuff or whatever else I need to do, and then rinse and repeat for 5 days straight. It's kind of grueling. It is. The burnout can definitely be real, and I've been struggling with, excuse me, with the Immortals Mask 4 because it's such a heavier series than Founders Edition and Will of the Immortals, and I found myself not wanting to write it. It's darker. There's so much darkness in the world that it can be difficult to want to bring more of that in. And so my word count for this year is down, but I expect it'll go up with the change in employment and moving on to more fun sections of that series, at least, and other series that I'm writing.
Yeah. Do you expect, so with you becoming a full-time writer, do you expect your word count to go up? Or are you like deciding that your word count is going to go up per day? Or are you going to keep it at that like 6,000 words a day?
Well, I've thought about that, and I think at first I want to just maintain my current 5,000 to 6,000 words a day.
Get some more sleep.
Right. Figure out what my schedule is going to be like, and sort of how that flows. And eventually I'd like to add some if I can do it without sacrificing my mental health, because the writing is far more difficult than my day job was. It's a lot of mental strain, and I think if I can maintain for a little bit, I'll be able to increase slowly without running into any issues.
Yeah. Burnout's a real factor, especially, 6,000 words. I think that from an author community perspective, you are at the top from a productivity. Like everybody's like, oh, you're Jay Kraussing it. If you like had a good day or week or whatever,
I
but
did not
like
set out to be a verb, but I'll take it.
yeah. But like it's a little hard to hear that it's just the consistency of just getting it done every day. Like I appreciate that. That's life,
It
right?
makes me angry.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just like life. The secret has always been just do it. I mean, and I hate that that's, I wish I had the magic pill, the secret to get it done, but you just can't let yourself
Not do
not.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
a lot like Leon with his willpower, right? Like that is very much informed by how I look at the world. I can't afford to fail, so I won't.
Mm-hmm. I think, it's hard. A lot of authors are doing, like this is the extra thing, like you for years, like this is the extra thing that you're doing in the morning. And I don't know whatever your flavor of neurodivergence is, or your kids or your family or your cats or all the things that happen in life, right? That I don't know, from my perspective, my personal like journey as a writer, it just seems like the world is like you can do anything but write. Like
Does
go
seem to
walk
want
the
to get in the
dog,
way.
go
Yes.
futz around on Facebook, go
Yeah,
do
my brain wants to get in the way too
anything.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
when did I open a new tab and open Reddit? What happened? I was just in my manuscript, and then it's been 20 minutes, and I'm mad at something else. Like, yeah, I don't know. It happens for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, all right. We've got some more questions that have come about. So Thomas wants to know if you've got any other stories besides the three series that you're currently working on, rattling around in your head.
I do. I have a series that I've started even that I keep getting asked about by people that know about it, so I don't actually want to discuss it, but I will. I have a Norse portal series that I've been sort of pecking at, which was going to be the palate cleanser, but then Founders Edition happened, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. And of course, we have millions of ideas, right? There's always things that we see. You watch an anime and you're like, "Ooh, I want to write a story like that."
Mm-hmm.
You see something happen, you're like, "Ooh, that would make a fun book." Like a billion of them, but filtering them out is the hard part. What might actually work for 100,000 words versus here's a short story.
Yeah. Yeah. It is one of those things where that evaluation of, is this worth it? Like can I put 100,000 words to this? Is the story,
Right.
like even if you're Jay Kraussing it, using that verb again, even if you're Jay Kraussing it, it's still months of time and effort and energy that you're dedicating to something. So you want to make sure that that idea is something that you want to spend a month or two writing at least.
Yeah, and that you're not going to be bashing your head against the wall for hours and on end to get it done.
Yeah. So we've got another question from the niece nephew department. It looks like. What is your favorite part of Founders Edition Book 1?
My favorite part. That's difficult. I mean, if I had to go broad, it'd be the relationships that grow between Brant and those around him. But my favorite part is probably Thea.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
Yeah, she is. I would agree with that. I think my favorite part is the Thea Brant interactions as well. Iron Eyes wants to know if you had to pick two of your characters to be in a long elevator ride with, who would you pick?
Long elevator ride. Do they have to get me out of the elevator, or are we just riding in the elevator?
I think you're just riding in the elevator, making small talk.
Oh, easy. Leon and Satow. No one would speak. It would be the perfect elevator ride.
See, I'm like Thea and Hannah. I want to be talking the whole time,
Nope.
Yep. Okay. BJ is like, I don't have questions because I've already got Jay answering them all for me. Hi, Wilkie. Welcome to the live. Let's see. Any other questions here? So Wilkie wants to know where your drive for writing. So we just talked about how it's that consistent, just sit down at the keyboard, 5 days a week for 6,000 words. But what drives you? What is lighting your forge?
It's terrible. Well, I guess it's the same spark that keeps me going anywhere else. I've been hungry and I don't want to be hungry again. I have people relying on me. I have to do it. I enjoy it, so that's a plus. I've definitely had to work harder for things that I did not enjoy. So it definitely comes easier than some of my jobs have, but it's the same basic principle. I have to get it done, so I do.
Yeah. All right, keep the questions coming. Getting a little serious. We're gonna talk about JordanCon. This is the Road to JordanCon series of interviews. You're going to both JordanCon and Lit RPG Con.
Mm-hmm.
But we just got an email with the proposal for our Jordan Con panels. Anything you want to share there? Anything you're looking forward to?
Well, I had to kind of jumble mine back up. They sent me, because apparently the Wheel of Time track stole me, but they stole me for a panel about the differences between the book and the show.
Mm.
And I've never watched the show because I know it'll piss me off. So
I actually like the show, so that's it might
I
not
don't know.
piss
I'm
you
a
off
bit
as
of a
much as you
purist with
think.
that stuff. Like most adaptations aren't good, especially when they change the source material. And
Mm-hmm.
just from the few things that I read before it came out, the changes they made to the magic system pissed me off immediately. The
I
changes they
mean,
made to some of
yeah.
the characters upset me. Like, so I didn't watch it. And so I emailed the lady back and I was like, hey, so I won't have much to say on this panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. I actually like the show, except I think Jen table flipped on the last episode, which I agree was terrible, ended terribly. Like they pinched that ending off too soon. But it's fun. It's JordanCon is this weird thing because it is Wheel of Time. It's Robert Jordan, but a lot of the lit RPG authors maybe haven't even read Robert Jordan. I think I've read it. It seems like you have too.
I have.
Yeah.
I feel like Wheel of Time is something to be endured by the end than it is to be something enjoyed, but it is a fantastic series.
Yeah.
If you can get through it. It is a lot. It is a lot of books and they're very thick. Honestly, skip every chapter that starts with Nynaeve or Matt and you'll have a much better time.
Yeah, I hated Matt's chapters and Nynaeve. That was actually one of the improvements in the TV shows that they made Nynaeve a lot more bearable to watch.
Well, it wouldn't be hard.
Yeah,
she is terrible.
she
awful,
is a terrible
awful
character.
person.
Yeah. Yes, but yeah, I would agree. The Wheel of Time. I will say that Eye of the World, the first book, is still to this day one of my top 10 books. Like that book is amazing, but yeah, the series itself is just gets to be a lot and long. So okay, so you've rejected a couple panels. Are there any ones that you've kept that
I kept the other three, but I don't remember what they are.
Sure. Okay. Look at this.
They're all
Jay
lit
Krauss
RPG ones.
is such an old hat that he doesn't even it's all
I don't know.
shoved in the panel.
I'll look at them soon, probably, if I remember to, or I'll just show up and panic and take my propranolol and bullshit. Like, I mean,
yeah.
Whatever gets you through.
Well, if you're in the chat, let me know what would the ideal panel that you would put Jay Krauss on. I'm curious what you guys all think. That would be fun. All right, so we've got a couple more questions. Doug wants to know coal or gas. What's better for forging?
Well, I have a coal forge and I have gas forges. One mainly that I use. I will do everything in gas that I can, but a gas forge is generally much smaller than a coal forge. So if I'm doing anything larger, I have to use coal. Coal is dirty and expensive and kind of a pain, but it's much hotter. So, and it's an open forge, so I can put anything in that space, whether instead of a 6-inch aperture. So yes, I guess is the answer.
What's like the range of things that you've actually like forged? Like, have you done like obviously some art pieces, and I've seen like you've done dice and smaller stuff. But what's some of the bigger stuff that you forged?
Well, I'm a member of ABANA, which is the Artist Blacksmith Association of North America. So I consider myself an artist blacksmith. I'm not a bladesmith. I don't do knives. There are people that find that very fascinating. I don't. I like the artist side of things. I've made a lot of stuff, and I would just say I do have an Instagram out there, Resolute Forge, with all of my pictures and whatnot, and I cannot wait to be able to go back to my shop. I'm planning on doing a couple of trips a month down to my shop and get back in the forge, because it's been basically since I started writing. It's been like a year and a half since I've done any blacksmithing, and it's been
You haven't done much. Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this change in in your job allows you to have that time. I mean, that would be an amazing thing to get back in your life. we don't necessarily need more words out of Jay Krauss every day.
No, I need to get to the gym every morning. I need to get my writing done, and I need to, follow my other passions when time allows. Then we'll talk about more books.
Yeah.
I think 8
All
or
right.
9 a year is good enough.
We have a couple people who say Matt and Nynaeve are their favorite characters, which
It's okay to be wrong.
I don't know.
I can't convince you, but ew. I mean,
I just got so tired of
and
that
Nynaeve
braid tugging. Like,
oh,
come on. Yeah.
God. I'm gonna find a way to put a good braid tug in my books, but then have that character die horrifically somehow.
I actually, like, one of my characters in my books has the braids, and I chopped him off in book 2. I was like, we're just gonna go short hair. Wilkie's got a great question though. How does your friendship with Tommy help you in your writing?
I don't know about help. He's the reason I wrote book 7 in 10 days. No. Actually, Tommy was the first person I met in person from the community, because I hadn't met anybody, and before the con, we realized that we were 45 minutes away, and we are like, well, let's go on a double date. Let's go get some Mexican food, and so we just went and got some Mexican food, and it was fantastic. And so it was nice, especially the first con, because believe it or not, I'm not really a people person, and I hate being in front of people.
No way.
My biggest nightmare is being on that stage. Just so you know, I hate it. Every second of it makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
But having someone there that I had met, my wife was there, thankfully. Otherwise, I just wouldn't have gone. But having someone else there that I'd be like, hey, I know that guy. That really helped. And now I have lots more, which is nice. I get to be like, hey, I know that guy and that guy and that gal. So
I mean, you lucked out with Tommy because he's such a delight. I mean, if you're gonna choose a little RPG author to be within driving distance of a Mexican restaurant to you, Tommy's maybe one of the top 3.
He is. He just hates grabbing the bill at the end of the night. You gotta talk to him about that.
Yeah. Well, he does pay Matt Denneman to be his best friend, so
exactly, and all that money goes somewhere, I guess.
All right, we've got a couple suggestions for panels. Doug is trolling you by saying he wants you on a panel that's dealing with fans that just don't get it.
I don't know if that would be much of a panel. I think that would be a fist fight, but yes.
Doug's second comment is just because I want him to say F them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I can't make you read, right? And I can't make you understand. And I've gotten lots of negative reviews where I'm like, no, explicitly no. It says the opposite of what you're claiming, but you didn't read it.
Yeah.
I can't.
I get it. I mean, I've gotten reviews. My book is literally like 3 friends go on an adventure and suck at it. And people are like, why do you have so much friendship in this book?
It's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, why is there so much fighting in a cultivation novel?
Yeah. BJ says that she thinks he'd be great on a companion critters panel, and yeah, that would be fun.
I got a couple of those now. Yep. No spoilers on Will of the Immortals, but we finally get a companion critter.
Yes, that's exciting. That is something that Will of the Immortals has been missing, is the cute companion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, animal companion.
Even if it brings me even closer to Skeleton Knight in Anotherworld that people say I'm ripping off. So
yeah. So back to Wheel of Time. Professor Jeffy wants to know who your favorite character in Wheel of Time is.
I bet you can guess. Maybe
Lance,
the loner blacksmith. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, Perrin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe I'm blanking on his name now. The warder. Why am I blanking on his name?
Lan.
Yeah. It's a stupid name. That's why.
Yeah, I called him Lance at first. I'm like, no, that's not it. It's Lan. Yeah.
Lan. Yeah, like local area network. We'll pick it up. But yeah, maybe him, but probably Perrin.
Yeah. Perrin, I don't like Perrin's like overall total arc, but he is a fun character at the beginning of the series.
I think he's the most realistically written. I think that's why I'm drawn to that one, because he's kind of like, I'm over this already. I want to go home. This sucks.
Okay, I take everything back about the TV series. You would hate it. You would hate what they did to Perrin.
Yeah, no, I know. I read an article the other day, and I was like, glad I didn't watch that.
Yeah, no, it would be trash. Yeah, I actually love that he struggled with the creation versus destruction. Like that was, he seemed to be the one that realistically struggled with his fate.
I call you Jeffy in my head too, just so you know.
Oh, it's Heffa.
No, it's Jeffy for sure.
Is it Jeffy? Hey. Don't troll me.
Hey.
God. Yeah. Okay. Brian's got a fabulous I love this suggestion for you. Make it dwarven beard braids that get tugged. I like that.
He does have a plaited beard. I mean, yeah, but then I wanted to kill Brant, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, again.
Yeah. Doug has a serious panel suggestion. VR MMOs, the approaching tech. What would your ideal VR MMO look like?
You're kind of looking at it, yeah. Kind of building that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna call you Professor because I can't tell what your name is now. Okay, so interestingly, I was on Ginger and the Foxes last night talking about Stumbling Up, and they got TJ Lombardi on to dramatically read a negative review and like troll the reviewer, which, I mean, there was something in my soul that was healed from that process. But you also are kind of known for trolling the troller.
Yeah, I think I have a problem personally with even addressing reviews. I generally don't, unless they're like blatantly wrong. I had one guy say I used AI, and that one had to be called out because, first of all, no.
Second I think everybody's throwing around the AI.
He said because I used the wrong waddle versus waddle for like a waddle and daub building, that I was using AI. And I'm like, sir, that is the most human mistake I think a person could make. But sure, I take that type of thing very seriously. But the longer that I write and the longer that I receive reviews, the more I'm able to just sort of not read them. It's not worth it, because it at first it absolutely took me out of the vibe, right? You put a little bit of your soul into all your books, especially into your stories and your characters, and to have someone who doesn't know you and who has objectively terrible opinions tear them apart, it hurts. It does. So, at first, sure. Now I don't care. Say what you want. Look at my review rating. I don't care.
Yeah. I will suggest to Wilkie, if anybody gives you a negative review, talk to TJ. Have him read it to you.
My big advice, other than don't read it, or have someone you trust read your reviews and send you the ones they think you should see, is to go to your favorite books, sort by lowest, and read their reviews. Because when you see a fantastic book that you love being trashed in ways that you've never seen before, you feel better about the way yours have been received.
There's a big thing about like when somebody gives you a review that's negative, was it done in good faith, in a moment where the person's actually trying to help an author get better, which, we do have those people on Roller Road who are really in the story and they're trying to help you progress. Or if it's just somebody being a troll, and 98% of the time it's just somebody being a troll.
The problem is reviews impact an author so heavily because of the way that review system works. We all go based on Amazon's algorithm because they're the biggest. They decide, really. I mean, that's how it works. So a 5-star is the default by the way they look at it. A 4-star is anything below a 4-star is a massive negative as far as Amazon is concerned.
Yep.
So if you're giving me a 1 star and writing me a dissertation on everything that you would change about my book, go write your own book. Why
Yeah.
are you wasting our time? That is not in good faith. That is you somehow convincing yourself that anybody cares about your opinion.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, reviews are just not a good place to try to provide feedback to a writer, period.
No.
If you really care about the series and the author, you should be reaching out to them on socials or, email or whatever. Right.
Yeah, that said, negative reviews are a good thing for 2 reasons. First, legitimacy. I would much rather read a series with, 1,000 reviews and an average of 4.6 than a series with 10 reviews and all 5 stars, because that doesn't
Yeah.
look legitimate, right?
Yep.
Having those negatives is good. The second reason is because people who are more likely to leave negative reviews seem to read them, and if they see things in those reviews that they know they're not gonna like, they have a chance to just not read your book and therefore not leave you a negative review. By all means, flock together, and then
Yeah.
leave.
What I always love is the people that read all 10 books in a series and leave a negative review for each one. It's like, why are you still reading?
I got one of those recently
You
in
just like
in
filter
in the
yourself
middle
out.
west,
Yeah.
and he had the same complaint in every single review.
Yeah.
I'm like, "My guy, if it didn't change in the first 2 books,
It's
I'm
not
not
gonna
sure what
be
you were
upsetting.
expecting."
Yeah. 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 All right. So we've got a couple more comments here. Somebody says AI aspires to be J. Krauss, not the other way around.
I mean, literally, every single one of my books showed up in that stupid list for, The Atlantic for the AI theft, so, I mean
Yeah, mine too. Yeah. No, AI is the thing, right?
Mm.
J.R. Noodles says that they knew it was written by a human when one of the books had a typo. And I
Hey,
mean,
man.
yeah.
Don't be putting my business out there like that, but yeah, you're not wrong. You
Um,
see, there will always be things that slip through the cracks. I
mhm.
am blessed to have a basically full-time editor and a line editor that I pay to go through line by line. I am better set up than most in spite of my ridiculous output. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I have some mistakes, trust me, it's an honest one.
Yeah. I mean, even like, trad publishing, like the Stephen King novels.
Mhm.
My spouse reads a lot of Stephen King, and every time every time they find an error in a Stephen King novel, they bring it up to me and be like, see, even like somebody that's got like all the eyes in the world on it still has mistakes get through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think there is a percentage that they look for, the trad pub, and that percentage has gone up recently. They don't really care nearly even as much as they used to. So, yeah,
Mhm.
it slips through.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're looking forward to at the cons? I know that like the being on panels in front of a bunch of people is not really your thing, but
Anything like
part
that, yes.
yeah, what part of going to cons is your thing? Like, what do you like about them?
Shockingly, it's being around the friends that I've made in the genre, and I have never been good at making friends, so it's nice to have them. I know that sounds silly, but, I get to see people that see me as a peer, and we can talk about things that I can't talk about with the vast majority of people. And I'm talking about the author friends. And of course, the readers, we can talk about books that if I go out in the street, I'm not going to find somebody like, hey, did you read the latest, you know? No, of course not.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, hey, come here. We're talking about, talking about Jason. So it's nice. It's the community. And like Lit RPG Con was incredible. It was like one big family, and
Yeah.
I was convinced that I was gonna have to go hide in my hotel room several times a day just to like recharge and not be surrounded. But I didn't, not once, and it was crazy.
Ironically, yeah, me too, honestly. I was convinced I was just gonna like have to like,
Mhm.
you know, like
Oh
hide
yeah,
in a
no,
blanket for at least
yeah,
like a
hide.
couple
And
times a day. Yeah.
but no, I didn't have to once, which was insane to me. I just wanted to be down in the thick of things, which is not my default
Hmm.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is a good thing to look forward to in a con. And I would second that as well.
I'm looking forward to
Um,
launching a book at the next con. I will say that.
mhm.
I brought 100 copies of Founders Edition to give out at JordanCon. So if you see me there, you can have one.
Yeah, I would love to snag one of those copies. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
good
but
book.
wait until Lit RPG Con. I don't know if Morpheus probably already left, but he is working on a fully custom remake of the Steel Foundations cover.
Yeah,
and it's going to be incredible. And it will
that's
only be available in person. I'm going to
dun
bring it
dun
anywhere
dun.
I go, but I'm not going to ship them. I'm not going to sell them. You got
This
to
is like
meet
your
me in
challenge
person.
coin for
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I love that everybody, well, I say everybody, but that there's a few authors that are kind of going all in on Lit RPG Con and some of the loot that's coming.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we're sponsoring this year as long as Jez finally gets me my invoice. So we'll have a table and lanyards and T-shirts and books. It's gonna be a time.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Awesome. Well, there's one more question. Wilkie's got, what is your process when choosing a voice actor?
Well, I haven't really had much of a process. The first couple of books, Will of the Immortals, of course, is a Podium production, and they gave me a list of 3 to choose from. I don't listen to audiobooks, and so I went through samples, and I picked the one that I thought would work the best. And Armin Taylor is the one I chose. Phenomenal voice actor. That series is incredible on audio. Cannot say enough about Armin Taylor's work there. For the Immortals Mask, I specifically requested to get an AAPI voice actor because it's very Eastern themed series, and I didn't feel right getting someone who looks like me to fake an Asian accent for 13 hours at a time. And so we got Brian Nishi, who I was surprised. He was on my short list, my very short list of who I was hoping I might be offered, and we got him. And he's doing a great job on that series. For the new series, I've had Dan Wisniewski on the brain since I met him at Lit RPG Con, and I was like, I want to work with this guy. Same with Steve Campbell, actually. I have him earmarked for my next series. And I think it's much easier if you have a voice actor in mind from the jump than it is to find someone who matches what you were thinking as you were writing. But either way, it's never going to be what you were thinking. I've learned that they take your characters and they just make them better in every way. And you're like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that tone or that, that's perfect.
That nuance. It's amazing how much how much life voice actors breathe into text. Yeah,
it really is. And Dan really killed it with this one. I'm very, very happy with his work on Founders Edition.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen to the whole thing. I very much do a lot of audio. It was actually hard to get through Founders Edition. Like, I think I had like a PDF that you sent me. I was like, I just want the audiobook. Not that it was hard to read or anything. I'm just like, most books that long, I eventually revert over to the audio. So
at least you didn't have the 3-pound Bible that it is in physical. You get carpal tunnel by the time you're done with
it. Yeah. Morpheus actually is still here. He says that the new cover is almost ready, which is exciting.
I'm so ready for that. Oh, his next cover for Will of the Immortals 9 is incredible too. I haven't released that one yet, but
yeah, that Morpheus just is getting better and better and better. So yeah,
I'm claiming that I found him.
Yeah, I always give credit. I was like, I stole Jay's artist.
I brought him into the fold, and now he can't escape because there's too many of us who need his work.
That's right. Okay, so Lighting the Forge is your next book out. What's coming out after that?
Well, book 8 of Will of the Immortals is the 2nd of April.
Okay, so
that's coming out
book
next.
8. Okay,
and then we have the first book of Founders Edition coming out on the 17th. And then we have the Immortals Mask 4 coming out June 30th, I believe. But then we'll have Will of the Immortals 9 on July 2nd. So it's just right after another. One of the biggest reasons why we're pushing the Immortals Mask back is because Podium is doing SimPub on that, starting with book 3 for the audio. And so they want, obviously, more time to get them done.
Yeah.
We are, I should say this in front of everybody, because we are experiencing some significant delays on the audio for Will of the Immortals. We are blessed with Armin Taylor, and we are cursed with Armin Taylor's schedule. So
Yeah.
You know, you got to do what you got to do. They're hoping to get 3 audio books out for that series this year, which in the same time I'll release
That's
4 books.
pretty. Yeah.
So, and we're on book 5, and I'm releasing book 9. Like, we're going to be behind, but I am signed for 16, and I am going to get my 16 books. I guarantee.
Yeah. Yeah. Just might take a couple years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just talking to Jeremy about book 2, and it's like I've either got a June slot or book 3. It's either I've got a June slot or an October slot, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna push for June. Just gonna
That's
have
sort of
to
what
J
it's
Krauss
like.
it.
That's sort of what FE2 is looking like, because Dan has a slot in July. I'm like, well, that means I got to write the book and edit it before then. It's doable. We'll make it happen. We'll figure it out somehow. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you figure it out, right? Professor wants to know, can we pre-purchase Steel Foundations, pick it up at the con?
No, because I don't sell them.
Yeah.
I don't sell books at cons. I give them away. So I will hold one for you, though. I'll be nice.
Yeah. Morpheus says he and some other writers have been feeding me in his basement, so everything's fine. Yeah.
He's been down there a while. I should go check on him at some point, but he's doing fine. If he's on YouTube, he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as the art still is flowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this year we're going to see you at Jordan Con, Lit RPG Con. Any other events that you've got planned that you're going to be at?
I don't know. Whatever else Tommy drags me to. He's got all kinds of crazy ideas. He'd be like, "Hey, man, I'm going to an abandoned factory to give some books away," and I'm like, "Cool. Let me get my gun."
There's a bunch of flashing lights.
Yeah. He's got a lot of little cons he's working on going to. He's going to Balticon, I think. Not this next month.
Yeah.
But
I need to talk to him and see how that is going. I've seen him at like events and stuff. He's posted on socials. So yeah.
Oh, Tommy's doing good.
What's the best place to find you online? Patreon, Facebook, where are you at?
Well, for updates, probably Facebook. To actually, ask questions or speak to me, my Discord for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only place that I'm guaranteed to see the notification in a reasonable amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
But for updates, just follow me on Facebook. I don't do like newsletters or updates on my website, because then I'd have to update the website every day, and I'm not doing that. So
yeah,
Facebook or Instagram, I post them on the same. But
yeah, fair. At one point you had a web-based game that you were working on. Have you got any plans for that?
Well, I have had zero time for it, but I do plan, and Morpheus is here, so he can hear me say this. I do plan on having him redo all the art for me, because we had like the cheapest or freest art you could get for his placeholders, and now I have an artist, and I can be like, "Hey, man, I need like 4,000 item, to get it done," and he'll get it done eventually. So
yeah.
But no, the game is playable. I mean, I think the database is currently down because no one's touched it in like 6 months, but it is playable. It is browser based, and it is cultivation, and it is infinite and procedurally generated, although that doesn't work yet. So don't do that.
Yeah. I wouldn't stress test it too much, but yeah. All right. Last question. If you had one book to add to Pop Pop's TBR or anybody's TBR, what's a book you'd recommend to everybody reading?
Ooh, let's see. The Walking Drum by Louis L'Amour.
Okay. Yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie.
That is my favorite book of all time.
All right. Noted.
If I had to pick a single book, that's the one.
That's the one. You're on a desert island abandoned by yourself.
I've read it 100 times. I'll read it 100 more times. It's fine.
That's fair. All right. Well, everybody, Jay and I are going to hop over to TikTok and do TikTok live for at least a half hour if you want to hang out. Also, Ginger and the Foxes have Shammy Stovall on tonight, so you can join them on TikTok live too. Shammy's a gem. So I got some choices. I'll be back on Friday with Eric Uglin and Matt Herman, and I'm excited to get into it. I'm just finishing up Monster Tamer Academy. And, I love a good Academy book. It's solid. So excited to talk to them about Jordan Con. If you have any more questions for Jay, hop over to TikTok or pop him a message on Discord. But I'm excited for Founders Edition to come out. You should too. It is a solid, lovely addition to Jay's portfolio of books. And yeah, gonna have to add in another series of yours, Jay, to my reading lists.
It happens.
I've got to read other people too.
I understand.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining tonight. And I'll catch you on TikTok in about 5 to 10.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, everybody.